Okay, so I just want to make a quick video of how we can work out or use the Casio calculators to do binomial distributions, and also including cumulative binomial distribution. So I'm going to show you how to use both the Casio classwiz and the graphical calculator. So a discrete kind of a binomial distribution is discrete, and it's always given in the form, if we write x, it's modeled binomially with the number of trials and then the probability. So this is number of trials, this is probability. So in this case, I've got no context for this question, but I know there's 30 trials and the probability of success is 0.73. I'm asked to find when x equals 20. So that is when my random variable is exactly 20. So out of these 30 times, what's the probability of me getting exactly 20 successes? Part B is I want less than or equal to 13. So I want 13 successes or less. So that's a cumulative. So that's a chance of getting 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to 13, all added together. And then C is 11 to 25, not including 11, but we are wanting to include 25. So because this is discrete, it can only take whole numbers. So the probabilities I'm looking for here is when x is 12, 13, 14, again, all the way up to and including 25. So I'm going to go through each of these. So they are slightly different examples, and go from there. So for part A, the probability that x is equal to 20. So you can do this manually using the formula, but on the calculator, I'm just going to do it use this. So firstly, with the classwiz, you go menu, and it's number 7, which is the distribution. Because it's equal to, we want to do the probability distribution. So that's number 4. So there's two different options you've got here. You've got binomial probability distribution, which is number 4. And if you press down, you've got the CD, which is the cumulative distribution. So that's when we're wanting to add together several distributions. So when we want 0, 1, 2, 3, all added together. So it could be multiple different things. So for this one, when it's equal to, you always use PD. When it's got less than or equal to, or less than, greater than, we'll end up using a variation of the CD. So I'm just going to press number 4, and we're going to choose variable because I want to choose the variable of 20. So number 2. In here, we just code this. So x is the number of successes you want. So in our case, 20. N is the number of trials, and P is the probability of success. So we just want to put all that in and press equals. And that gives me 0.11425 ... And that's it for that one. You can round it to however many significant figures you need. Part B, the probability of x being less than or equal to 13. So there's multiple ways of doing this without a calculator as well. One of which is to calculate each of the probabilities for 0 and then add it to 1 and add it to 2 and so forth, all the way up to and including the probability that x is 13. So there'll be 14 different calculations here that you could add together. Obviously, this is exceptionally time consuming. So what we're going to do is look at how we can use our calculator to do that. So this, because we're adding up multiple things, this will be what we call cumulative. So we want to add together multiples. So on our calculator, we want to go back to the menu and select 7. And this time we want the cumulative distribution. So you press down and then press number 1. And again, it's just list. This one, you code it the same. The calculator will only do less than or equal to. So your calculator only knows to do less than or equal to. So you've got to understand how this calculator works. It will only let you put in less than or equal to. So if you've got a strict inequality, you're going to have to recode that. So for example, if you had this particular question, which is x is less than 14, because this is discrete, it can only take whole numbers. So being less than 14 means that we could be 13, 12, 11. We just can't be 14. So this is actually the exact same as saying less than or equal to 13. So first thing you need to do when it's a strict inequality is get it into the form of less than or equal to. And this is the number then for your calculator. So this one's already done for us. So we can put this one straight in. So less than or equal to 13, I put 13 in, and I've still got my other numbers set up. I just press equals. So in this case, it's quite small, standard form here. So this number is 0.000579991 ... You can put this down, but this is the actual probability there. So it's quite small, the chance of basically being less than 13. And that's because the chance of success is so high here. In part C, some calculators will allow you to put this in as it is, so the lower number and the upper number. For us, the first thing we're going to do is consider what numbers this can be. So it can't be 11, but it can be 25. So the smallest our value is going to be 12. So we want to include the numbers from 12 all the way up to 25. So what we do here, the first thing we want to do is to convert this into a friendly way for our calculator, which involves less than or equal to signs. So if I work out the probability that x is less than or equal to 25, this particular sum will work out all of the probabilities from 0, 1, 2, all the way up to 25. But remember, I don't want from 0 all the way up to 25. I just want from 12 to 25. So somehow I need to get rid of 0 all the way up to 11, because I want to start my counting at 12. So what is a way to express these probabilities? Well, it's the probability that x is less than or equal to 11 in this case, because I don't want to include that one. So I want everything up to 25, but don't give me the ones from 0 to 11. It's effectively what this is saying. So we're just going to work those out now. Again, just put these in the calculator. So you can actually do a couple of ways kind of writing this. I normally just write these down, but you can store them on this calculator. I will go through a quick blast on the graphic calculator in just a second to show you as well, but it's the same principle. So on this one, I'm going to go back to the CD and I'm going to change this to be 25 and press equals. And that tells me the probability that it's less than or equal to 25. So that's not my answer yet. I've still got one more step to do. What I'm going to do is normally I just write that down to 5 or 6 significant figures, and then I'd work this one out and I'd manually do the subtraction. But what you can do is you can store this in your calculator. So this button here, the store function, you can click on that and just say all of these with letters above them, you can use as storage kind of placeholders. So I'm going to press A. So if I press store and A, it says stored to A. So now that's actually in my calculator stored. I can clear that. And I'm just going to work it out for 11. This is 0 points. It's quite a small number. 0.0000333511 and so forth. And I'm just going to store this one. I'm going to store this in B. There we go. So when it comes to working these out now, rather than me having to actually remember to put these in my calculator, I can go back to my calculation mode. And I can recall, so this button above the store, if I press shift recall, I've got these two numbers here. So I want to do A minus shift recall B. And I'm just doing a lazy way of doing this. I could just type these in, press equals, and that's my final answer. So it's 0.93726 ... So 0.9373. So it's pretty much the same as less than 25. On the graphic calculator then, to bring this one in, how does this differ? I'll just go through each one again just to show you. The last one, you do actually have to work these out and then do the calculation. There is a way to store on here again, but it's a little bit trickier, a bit clunkier. So the first thing we want to do is on menu, go to stat, and then go to the point F5, which is distribution. In this one, we've got several different functions. We're looking for binomial, which is F5. And then for the first one, we want probability distribution. So that's PD, so that's F1. For B and C, we'll be using CD. So for the first question, PD. And then on this one, there's a slight difference you've got to change here. Where it says data, you need to change that to be variable, so var. So I click on that one. And then I just code this exactly the same. So 20. Number of trials was 30, and the chance of success is 0.7. 3. And that should give me the same value, so 0.1142. So that's that, kind of finished. Same for the cumulatives. If I step back out of this, go to distribution, binomial, and then CD. The only thing I change here, so again, my data is set to variable. I change this to be 13. And that again will add together all those probabilities. So it should just give me 5.79 times 10 to the minus 4, which is just this one here. I do the same for these two, and it will give me the same answers here. So that's how you use it for that one. Again, on this calculator, I would actually just write these down and do the subtraction by going all the way back to the first mode and just putting that in manually. So rather than storing them on there, it just works out a bit faster in my opinion, but it's open to you. So that's how you do that question. I will follow this up with a couple more examples, but rather than it being in one single video, I'll split it up.